life of a trucker, well, it ain't easy. It gets lonely on the road. The highways and the byways are my mistress, or at least that's what I've been told. I yearn for a family filled with laughter, someone to come home to, a fairy tale. But instead, I'm just a prisoner of a lifetime filled with hell. Well, that old sun, well, she was a sinking low, and I was halfway through Missouri, and I thought to myself, I could use a cup of joe, because my eyes, they were feeling weary. Well, wouldn't you know it, just 3 miles ahead there was a Denny's, so I pulled into the parking lot, and I must have had myself about 3 cups of joe before I had to go use the pot. 30 minutes later, I was walking back out to my truck, when off to my left was this little cripple boy down on his luck. That just broke this big guy's heart, so I had to walk on over and check on that little guy. His little hair was as mangled, as bad as his legs, and it brought a tear to my eye. He said, "My name's Danny," as I reached into my pocket and I slowly gave him my comb. Me and Mom are stranded, and I can't walk, and we're trying to find a ride home. Why, just then an angel came around the corner, holding up a $20 bill. She screamed out, "Danny, we can go home now." So Danny reached down and unlocked his wheels. I stood up and said, "Ma'am, you just keep that 20. I'll be your chauffeur tonight. My rig can carry the both of you and Danny's wheelchair. Everything's gonna be all right." Our eyes locked, and we just smiled at each other. Maybe it was a sign from above. A weight had been lifted off of her shoulders, and I gave little Danny's wheelchair a shove. I picked up Danny and I threw him in the back, making sure not to hurt his mangled feet. Then I hoisted my angel from the heavens up above to the comfort of the passenger seat. We slowly took off with sweet anticipation of what this night would bring. I tell you, we couldn't stop talking. I had never been happier as our voices continued to sing. What felt like minutes had really been hours. I had never wanted more for a moment to last. When little Danny spoke up and said, "Mister, slow down. Take a ride here. You're going too fast." Well, I slammed on those brakes and we turned down the road. My heart no longer for sale because it had been sold to the beautiful angel who sat down beside me and her son with 2 dead feet. Then a voice from the back said, "Hey there, mister, I think we're on the wrong street." I screeched to a halt and I looked all around. There wasn't a house in plain sight. Danny pulled himself up and said, "Sorry, mister, I meant to say left, not right." I looked over at Danny and said, "That's all right, little buddy. I'll just turn around at the end of the road." Then my sweet little angel pointed a gun at my head and said, "Shut up and do what you're told." Well, I couldn't believe it. Just like that, my dream had become a nightmare. But now Danny's little hands were wrapped around my throat and I was struggling to get some air. I tell you, he was a lot stronger than I gave him credit for. In fact, he had me beat. But I guess that's what happens when all you use are your hands instead of your 2 dead crippled feet. Danny opened the door and threw me out of the truck as I struggled to breathe on the ground. I slowly looked up. A gun was pointed at my head. My angel said, "Don't make a sound." She eased back up and got back into the truck as they continued to stare down on me. Danny said, "Mister, we're taking your truck. Keep your mouth shut and just let it be." Just an hour before, my life was perfection, but now I knew that that soon would pass. Danny rolled down the window and pointed the gun straight at me and shot me straight in the ass. As the truck drove off and disappeared into the distance, that was the end of my fairy tale. I just laid there in the ditch with a bullet in my butt in a lifetime filled with hell.